Hello, everyone, and welcome to my brand new podcast called The Creative Pawdcast. Thank you for being here and coming on board to my new journey. I'm very excited about it, and I'm looking forward to go on this new adventure of creating a video podcast. The name of this podcast is The Creative Pawdcast because I want to combine creativity and my love for drawing animals. So that's why I just decided to call it The Creative Pawdcast. I've wanted this for a long time, but I don't like that much to be on the camera because I think I look ridiculous sometimes and I'm just afraid I'm going to ramble too much, but I guess if you don't do it, you don't know. So I just wanted to press record and just started filming and see what's gonna happen. So this podcast is going to be about the creative process and also about all things related to drawing animals, and I'm going to combine both of them and just talk about those things. And this is a new chapter in my life, creating this video podcast, because I already had a podcast a while ago and it was only audio, but I just wanted to take things to the next level and just move on from just hiding behind the microphone to being in front of the microphone and also in front of the camera and just talk to you guys about everything art related, because I was always hiding behind the microphone and I always wanted to get the courage to just press record and film myself while talking, but I was just always afraid because I didn't know what's gonna happen. So that's why I took this big step now, and I'm going to see where this new journey is going to bring me. Because this episode is called How I Became a Pet Portrait Artist, I want to talk to you guys about how I became a pet portrait artist, my journey. Maybe some of you already heard this story, but I'm just going to say it again. So my journey started when I was 9 years old or a bit younger, I don't remember, when I just I had a feeling like my gut instinct was telling me to grab a piece of paper and some pencils and just draw everything around me without nobody pushing me or telling me, oh, try this, try drawing. I just felt it and I did it at 9 years old or a bit younger. And the first time I drew something was from looking at cartoons. So I was just sitting on the couch with my sketchbook and I was looking at the television, drawing, and I was just drawing step by step what I was seeing. And because the cartoons were so fast, it was impossible for me to finish a drawing in one go. So I had to wait for the next day, for the next episode, so I continue with the character I was drawing. So for example, if I was drawing a character from a cartoon, maybe in one go, in one episode, I could just draw the hair and a bit of the head. So I just stopped there. And on the next page, I continued to draw the character from the cartoon after that one. And so one every day I was just staying in front of the TV and the pages from the sketchbook were open on the cartoon that was rolling on TV. And I was just continue the drawing until day by day, until it has been finished. Even now, thinking about it and going a bit in time, I can still feel that feeling of accomplishment I felt when I saw the drawing finished, and that feeling of accomplishment motivated me to keep drawing. And then later on, when I was a bit older, I started just drawing. I moved from the characters on the cartoons and I just started drawing everything I was seeing around me, like the TV, the flowers, just looking around and drawing. And then later on, when I was around 13, 14, in the break at school, I was just asking classmates to give me something like an object to draw, or I was just drawing something I was seeing around in the classroom. And sometimes they loved it so much that I just gave the drawings for free to my colleagues, to my classmates. And I was like, oh, people like what I'm drawing and they want to have it. And that gave me even more motivation to move on. And then in high school, I started officially asking money for drawing. So I started with drawing people first in graphite. So I was just doing, they weren't really realistic, just sketch like drawings for my colleagues, for my classmates. And I was asking a small amount of money. It wasn't like 300 euro or something. It was around 30, maximum 30 euro. But that for me, that was a lot of money because somebody was really willing to pay for my art. And for me, it was not about the money, just the fact that somebody wants a drawing from me, which made me, just very impressed. And I couldn't believe that somebody wants to do that. And I drew people in graphite for a long time, and around 7 or 8 years ago, I was just looking at my cat and I was thinking, what if I try to draw her? So said and done, I started drawing her, and by the end of this drawing, I was totally in love with drawing pets, and honestly, I didn't even think anymore about drawing people. From that moment, I was sold to the animal drawings, and I just continued drawing animals. And I posted that drawing of my cat on Facebook and in one Facebook group with cats, I think. And I got a commission from that drawing from a friend of my friend who saw the drawing online, and they wanted me to draw their Cocker Spaniel, which isn't a very easy breed to draw, especially for the first time in color. But I did it anyway because I was so excited that somebody wants a drawing from me again. I had the same feeling like in high school when I was making portraits for my classmates, and luckily it all ended well, and the person liked the drawing, and I also posted that one, and just after a while, just like a snowball effect, more and more people asked me for drawings, and that's how I started. In the end, I mean now, after so many years, I've drawn a lot of pets for people all over the world, but back then I was working in color pencils, and now I'm working in pastels, so I changed my style, but still they look similar. If you look at my color pencils drawings and pastel drawings, the style is there, it's just the approach is different. Of course, when I started out, I had no idea how to price my art, how to contact clients, how to talk to clients, how to package my portraits, especially for clients over the seas, because they had such a long way to go, those portraits. So I had to make sure they are packed very well and they won't be damaged in the transit process. So I had to learn all of those things, but like everything else in life, with practice and from making mistakes, you learn all of these new things that they're like a brick that adds on top of each other, and then you build a house, for example, adding brick by brick, you just in the end you're going to have a house if you add enough bricks to build a house. The same with the art journey, it's step by step, brick by brick, and at the end you're gonna wake up and be like, oh, I just built a whole career, brick by brick, an art career. So you're going to realize that without even noticing, you just build a whole art career just starting from nothing. Of course, another thing that motivated me to continue being a pet portrait artist was the reaction of the people when they got the drawing, because some clients send me some videos of unpacking the drawing. They are mostly given as a gift, but people still film the family members that get the portraits, and they send the video to me, and people cry, and yeah, I'm just overwhelmed by the reaction of those people, and I still can't believe sometimes that I did that from a blank piece of paper. I created such an emotional artwork and I created such an emotional impact for those people, and I still can't believe it. But yeah, I just love seeing those videos and seeing that I could bring some happiness in people's lives just by creating art. Because I always had pets, even before I was born. I feel this connection with animals because I grew up with them, and I think that's also one of the reasons that I love drawing animals so much. Before I was born, my parents had a Dalmatian, but they gave it away they gave it away before I was born, which I regret because I would have loved to grow up having a Dalmatian, but it is what it is, it happened, I can't change it. And when I was a bit older, my parents bought some parrots. I think they are called in English budgies. So they are those little parrots in all kind of colors, like green, yellow, blue, white, all kind of colors, and they're very cute and have some stripes on the head, and the forehead is white. I think you know what I mean, they're called budgies in English. I think they bought me my first parrot when I was around 7 years old, and I had to take care of it. It was my responsibility. I had to clean the cage of the parrot, make sure it has water, food. I had to go to buy food, change the water every day, just take care of it. And I loved it so much, and I had one parrot, it was called Athos, that I had a very good connection with, and I could just stick my finger like this, and it was coming from the cage and landing on my finger. And while I was drawing, he was just sitting on the top of my sketchbook and just looking at me drawing. It was a special parrot, but unfortunately it passed away. So yeah, since then I didn't have parrots anymore because the loss was so painful. I didn't want to get through that pain again anymore. But I still had cats. I didn't have dogs anymore, I just had cats. So I had my cat, which I also have now, but now it doesn't live with me, it lives with my brother, but it's still my cat also. The one I just drew a few years ago when I started creating pet portraits. I adopted my cat, the black one I just drew back then, and I think that was 8 years ago, so she's 8 years now, and that's the only pet I have. And I also have another cat, but doesn't live with me, still lives with my brother, and it's a tuxedo cat. It's a male. The black cat is a female, and the tuxedo cat is a male, but they don't live with me, but I do see them regularly. I don't know, but when I was drawing people, I did enjoy it, but it wasn't the same level of enjoyment when I'm drawing animals. I did love drawing people also, but when I'm drawing pets, don't know, I just feel it's another kind of feeling, and I enjoy it more than drawing people. I just love to bring that sparkle in the eye of the animal and just create those layers of fur and see all the contrast and all that shiny fur coming to life. I don't know, it just makes me more happy than drawing people. I don't say that drawing people is not fun, but we are all different and we don't all like the same things. And for me, drawing animals, it's the best job ever, and I enjoy it, and I don't think I would ever get bored of it. As I said, I just get lost in all those details, and yeah, I feel my soul vibrating when I'm drawing animals. And I didn't have that with drawing people. I did enjoy it and I liked to learn more things about drawing, but I didn't really feel a connection with drawing people as I'm doing with animals. I did try watercolor, graphite, charcoal, oils, acrylic, all kind of mediums, but what stuck with me the most is pastels, which I'm doing now also. I used color pencils for around 4 or 5 years, so I love them also, but because it takes so long, I was constantly thinking that this just takes too long, and I was wondering if there's another option to make the drawings realistic but a bit faster. And then I discovered I knew about pastels, but I had no idea how to use pastels, and I didn't know that it's a chalky medium and a bit messy, but I had never used them before, so I just started learning about them, and then I also fell in love with them. And I had the same feeling drawing with pastels as I had with drawing pets, so I did enjoy drawing with color pencils, but it was a totally different kind of feeling when I started using pastels as I did when I started drawing animals. So I knew that, yeah, this is it, this is my art medium, so I need to pursue it, learning how to use it. And I think I've been using it for 4 years now, I think, and I don't want to brag, but I think I got to a level where I'm very confident in this art medium, so that's why I also started teaching people how to use it. And I created a Patreon, and if you want to check it out, I'm going to put it in the comments below. And I create artworks in graphite and pastel there because I also love graphite very much and I couldn't choose between those two, so I had to add both of them. So on my Patreon I create focus tutorials or a full drawing in both pastel and graphite. So as I said, if you want to check it out, you can find the link in the comments below. It's totally new, I just started it out and I have a few tutorials there. So on the graphite tier I have a full drawing of a ladybug in graphite, and I filmed everything from the sketch all the way to the end result. And also I was talking live through all the drawings, so I was drawing and at the same time talking, so it's a real-time voiceover, it's not recorded afterwards. So I was just drawing and talking at the same time, just to make sure I explain everything as I do it, and I gave as many useful information as possible. And in the pastel tier by now I have a focus tutorial of a Dalmatian eye in pastel, and the same from the sketch all the way to the end result with my real-time voiceover, just talking while drawing and explaining why and how am I doing it. And now I'm just working on a next tutorial, and that's going to be for the pastel tier, and it's a commission of mine of a French bulldog. And the same, I'm going to take you through all the steps from the background all the way to the final highlights with real-time voiceover. So if you'd like to check it out, just have a look in the description and I would love to have you there. But coming back to the drawing animals, that's why I love drawing animals, and that's what made me start to realize that I can be a pet portrait artist and people are willing to pay for it. Because yeah, when I had the first commission of the Cocker Spaniel, I still couldn't believe that people are willing to pay for art. And of course by then I was charging a bit more because I had more experience and I didn't think it's going to be worth it to ask the same amount as I was asking in the past. Also because those color pencils and color drawings are a bit more expensive than graphite drawings, because you have to choose all the colors and combine them and just takes longer than graphite, because with graphite you just focus on the tonal values, and with color pencils you just have to mix the colors and build more layers, and it just gets a bit more complicated. So I think it's fair enough to ask a bit more money for a colored pencil drawing. So I hope I didn't ramble too much in this first episode. I'm a bit nervous because I'm not very used to being in front of the camera and talking so much, but I'm willing to take this step, learn and improve my appearance on the camera and also how I talk on the camera. So I hope you enjoyed it. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this podcast is going to be about all kinds of topics related to animals and creativity. And also I'm going to talk about social media and how to pack art and a lot of stuff. So it's going to get very interesting, and I have a lot of topics in mind and I already have some videos planned. So this podcast is perfect for other fellow pet portrait artists or just art lovers that want to see how it is to be a pet portrait artist and an animal artist in general, and who wants to find more about this niche. So you don't have to be an artist to listen to this podcast. You can also just be a pet lover that follows my work for a long time and just want to connect with me more, because in video you also see my face and you get to know me better and see my personality through the camera. Because when I was recording my previous podcast, the one I stopped a while ago, and I was just hiding behind the microphone, I didn't feel like I could connect on the same level as if I would just be in front of the camera. So that's also one of the reasons that makes me feel better now that I know that you can connect on a deeper level to me, because you also can see me and see my personality. I'm not a very extrovert person, so you're not going to see me doing crazy stuff, and you can also see by the way that I'm talking that I'm a calm person. And I also want this podcast to have this kind of vibe, like a calm conversation and just to connect with you more. Also, another reason of creating this podcast is because I want to get used more to the camera and talking and just get rid of that feeling of being in front of the camera, because it's not so bad, honestly. I'm still a bit nervous, but I get used to it fast. And if you see the lighting changing the whole time, it's because the sun comes in and out of the clouds. So I'm sorry for that. I can fix that. This video is going to be sometimes darker, sometimes lighter. So I'm sorry for that, but it is what it is. And I'm going to stop rambling now, because I think I've been talking too much and I could talk for hours, and I don't want this podcast to be too long because I don't want it to be boring for you. I just wanted to tell you how I became a pet portrait artist and why I decided to create this video podcast. And I'm just looking forward to get on board of this new journey of podcasting video. I don't say I'm an expert or a professional. I'm just an amateur. I just have a camera and a microphone, but I guess that's all you need for a podcast. But I'm willing to learn, so I really hope you're going to come along with me on this journey and that we're going to create a very nice community of artists. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and comment what do you think about this first episode of this new podcast of mine, and also give me some ideas about what would you like to hear in this podcast in the future episodes. So I'm open to any ideas, so just drop them in the comments below. I'm going to read all of them and take all of them into consideration. But if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, please follow and give me a quick rating. It just takes a few seconds for you, but for me it can make a huge difference, so I will be very grateful if you do that. I really want other artists to discover this podcast also, and that's why it will help me a lot to keep me motivated to create even more, because I don't want to just talk to myself. I want to get to more people and just connect with them. So that's how your rating would help me just getting my podcast in front of the eyes of more people and fellow pet portrait artists. And again, I mentioned my Patreon. It's new, but I'm going to add content every month. So if you'd like to check that out, the link is in the description below. I'd love to see you there also. So just check it out if you're interested. And again, thank you for watching. I only talked for a few minutes, but it feels like I talked forever because I'm still a bit nervous because I'm just getting used to the light in my face, camera and microphone. I need to mind how close my mouth is to the microphone. I need to look in the camera, not to the light, because I'm going to get blind if I look too much towards the light. And thank you for coming along with me in this new podcast called the Creative Pawdcast. Thank you for watching, and I really hope I'm going to see you in my next episodes as well.